ready for adventure? Well, we're in the Lake District and there's plenty to be had. Paragliding is probably one of the most adventurous things you can do in the Lake District. I'm told that the views are truly amazing. There's an event held in Buttermere every year that attracts hundreds of visitors from all over the country.
This is an event for charity, organised by the local paragliding club and Gordon Oliver, who runs the event, the Buttermere Bash. It was set up over, well, probably 18 years ago or more. And it's a great event, it's great fun, and it enables us to have a ball flying over the Lake District, but also raising money for worthy charities. The flying in the Lake District, when it's good, is comparable to anywhere around the world. But the best thing about the Lake District is it's so beautiful. And also, you know it. So to fly up high over somewhere that's, you recognise the walks you did and the moments you had camping on that fell or whatever, it's even more special. Whereas when you're going, soaring along the Rift Valley or something, it's nice, but there are no memories there. But in the Lake District, there's memories around every corner. And it's so pretty. And to fly up over it is just brilliant. The flight we did today was a declared out and return flight, which is the British record, because to declare it, to actually say, well, I'm going to do this flight, is quite an achievement because you actually have already planned it. Many have been further and back, but they were just lucky and it was fantastic conditions and they just went for it and came back. But to actually say, we're going to do this, is a declared out and return. And that's actually the British record, and it's just under 40 kilometres, which it doesn't sound a lot, but when you're going over the whole Helvellyn Massif and the whole of the Lake District, it's a fantastic flight. And the pilots are really buzzing. I think 8 got to goal out of about 40, so it's a good percentage. Paragliding is classed as a risk sport, we have to accept that, but there's a lot that's done to minimise that risk. The training is very good, the equipment is exceptional and it's all tested, and you know, the general education, and also after you've left the school, the club environments that you go into are very protective and they look after the coaching. For example, this competition has an A class, which are very experienced pilots, B class, which are pilots that are just starting to cross-country fly, and also a coaching section, like a kindergarten of flying, if you like. And that's how sort of inclusive all the pilots are. They want to just coach and help everyone enjoy this great sport, really.
I was living in South Africa, in Cape Town, and from my flat I could see Lion's Head, and it's an awesome sight. You've got Table Mountain, Lion's Head, the whole of Table Bay, and people often fly from there, so, and often at sunset, so it's just really spectacular. And I thought, I want to do that. I think it's often seen by people that don't paraglide as more of an adrenaline sport. I mean, certainly one can make it more adrenaline if you want. There's certain maneuvers and things, but it's also a very peaceful sport, and it's fantastic to just really enjoy nature and enjoy sights like this. So you get your exercise hiking up, and it feels all the more special for having lugged your wing up, and then your wing gets to give you this wonderful flight. It's still a very special, wonderful moment when your feet leave the ground. There's just something at that point where your glide is tugging you skyward. So it's awesome. Focuses your attention completely and absorbs you completely, and you're just enjoying the elements, but you're also very aware of the air and the different currents and thermals, and you're looking out for things that you wouldn't see unless you sort of did a paragliding and maybe learnt about movement in the grass and in the trees and little things like that, and smells in the air, even just free flying and with no motor. It's very peaceful, very quiet, and yes, it does make you feel like a bird. I think I'm always quite happy when I've landed. It's like it's great to fly, and it feels great when I land as well, and it's another safe flight, and I'm happy and I've enjoyed it. It was beautiful conditions, and it's nice to be down on earth again too. I think it's relatively easy. A lot of schools will hire equipment while you're learning, otherwise you can buy your kit up front. But generally your first day of training, you're in a field like this, and it's basically a big kite, and you're learning how to ground handle it. And maybe at the end of the day, if you're lucky, you might get to fly a foot or two off the ground. And then generally you're slowly going up a gentle slope, and the flight slowly increases. So people often say, oh, you jump off mountains, and we never say, yeah, we don't jump, we fly. So it's very gradual, and it's easy to learn.
You would be in a school environment for about 10 days, 10 to 12 days. So you do 2 exams in that period. You do an elementary qualification, and then you do a club pilot qualification. Once you get your club pilot, you're released into the club environment. So you can make your own decisions, but it's best to be with club coaches and club flyers to just keep an eye on you. And then after you've got about 5 or 10 hours, then you can fly anywhere. But already you've learned about sight access, permission to take off, permission to land, and learning about the weather, because it's very critical. Because you can fly in these mountains and you can take off in a beautiful southerly, but then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon a sea breeze comes in, it's a very strong westerly, and you have to know when that wind's going to come in, the signs of the winds coming in and things like that. So that's what all the education and the coaching is all about. The Lake District is where, I think, in a pilot's passage of flying, they have to visit here at one stage or another, yeah. Because it's beautiful. They might not do the biggest cross countries in the world, but they'll go over the most beautiful scenery.
Fell running is synonymous with the Lake District, and the season gets off to a tough start in the southwest corner of Cumbria with the gruelling Black Combe Fell Race.
fell race goes all the way to the top of the mountain, down to the bottom, and then back up again. So it's a deceptively difficult fell race, but it's one of the big fell races of the season, right at the start of the season. So we get a lot of people coming along to test themselves out right at the start of the year. Today we've got about 150 people, I think, running on the race itself, and the club organises it. We have about 20 or 30 people who actually marshal, do the registration and help people along, actually stand on the top of the mountain to make sure people get round safely. Running up on the high mountains tends to be very rugged terrain. It's very steep going up, it can be boggy, rocky, quite difficult terrain across the top, and then very steep coming down. You need to have navigational skills on many of the fell races, that's a must, and the Fell Racing Association sets out certain rules that need to be complied with in order to run those races and to marshal them. So they can be fairly serious, but also fun races. In all, we're covering about 2,500 feet of climbing today in the space of 7 miles. The winners, and it's a very, very fast finish coming down, the winners will come round in about 1 hour 50, but there will be people finishing in well over 2.5 hours, so a well spread out field, but the fast people will be exceptionally quick.
How was that for you then?
And then send somebody up with them.
Yes.
Yeah, it went quite well.
We've got no cups, Car.
It's not very often I win, so it's good. Yeah.
What are the conditions like up there today?
Oh, really good, yeah. It's really cool, like proper best weather. Yeah, and it's good underfoot, so yeah, it's fast conditions. That's why I did quite a quick time. Just because it's fast and the weather's good, it's not very windy.
It's a sort of natural progression as you get to enjoy the walking in the Lake District on the beautiful mountains up here. You tend to want to go a bit faster. You start jogging on the mountains, you start running on the mountains. You find you can cover distance really quickly and be in some absolutely beautiful, beautiful areas. And that starts to progress to just adventure running, really, just for your own sake. And then you start to sort of go into certain fell races and say, oh, I'll try and run in that race and see how that goes. And it's just a natural progression, actually. Just really enjoying being in the hills more than anything else, and that's the beauty about fell racing. It's more than just the race itself, it's the beauty of being in the hills in the Lake District on a beautiful sunny day.
Well done. Dipper here. Well done.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Some nice conditions, very tough. Lovely. The second climb is fantastic.
Best day out since Christmas.